If we look at the underlying fundamentals over the mid and longer term, so companies focused on returns to shareholders, for example, more than they had been previously, obviously at the request or the nudging from regulators, I mean, does that make you more constructive on a 12-plus month view?
On a 12-plus month view, I am very bullish at the Japanese yen. I think there, as you start to say, there are a lot of reasons to be bullish on the Japanese economy. We're beginning to see significant price growth. We're beginning to see demographic shifts where there's a more investment into venture capitalism as the older generation starts to leave the workforce and the younger generation starts to enter the workforce. I think you're seeing wages start to stabilize and grow. So there's a lot of reasons to be bullish the Japanese economy in the 12-month period. But if we're talking about this week, next week, this month, I think that investors still have to be bearish the Japanese yen. This week we have the Bank of Japan's monetary policy announcement, and one of the things we've seen over the past couple of weeks is that the BOJ has no wiggle room to suggest that they are looking to move away from zero interest rates because disinflation is still a problem. We also see weaker industrial production. The data has been terrible. So I think the BOJ will remain dovish, and that will keep the yen under pressure.
Can you explain to me your 12-month view and being bullish? Because I'd present a counter argument suggesting that, we're seeing inflation starting to deteriorate. The pace is slowing quite significantly, but there's this expectation that's been baked in and built in that those Shunto wage negotiations are going to be the be-all and end-all. That's when we're finally going to see a lot of the pass-through coming through because inflation-adjusted wages are obviously still absolutely in the doldrums and consumption's being weak apart from foreign visitors. But the small to medium firms, where is their economic boom? Because if they're not the ones that are increasing wages, if it's just the top firms yet again, whether, Kaidenren or Rengo wants 4 or 5 or whatever it is, then how does it work out that we get the upside that we're looking for in inflation that's going to facilitate the BOJ cutting? Or hiking, hiking.
Well, I think in 12 months from now, I believe that we're going to see the end of zero interest rate policy. And that combined, so the prospect of Japan essentially being the only country in a monetary tightening cycle, as all of these other central banks are in a monetary easing cycle, I think all of it itself is going to drive the Japanese yen higher. One of the big outlooks I have this year is for a more significant carry trade unwind as a result of other central banks cutting interest rates and the BOJ moving in the opposite direction. So stepping aside from the argument of where the wage growth is going to come from mid-tier firms, I think from the mere perspective that zero interest rate policy is going to end 12 months from now, probably even sooner, that is going to lead to a lot of renewed demand for the Japanese yen and unwinding of a lot of the short yen trades.